start recording because this
So
is too good.
a little special delivery for you guys in pre-chat.
Yeah,
God,
I like it.
Stop.
Yeah, it's all good.
Everything I say sounds dirty. I'm sorry.
The pre-chat. Look at Bo's new background. It's great.
My background's fake.
Yeah, what do you?
It's a picture of someone else's nice house.
Oh, okay, all right.
Nice house with boxes all over the floor.
Yeah, you moved your computer. I heard
I'm
that.
wired, so am I like stuttering? And
No, you
like,
sound great.
You enter the, and you're like, what did I enter, Dan?
No, you sound
great,
good. I think wired internet is the way to go. Yeah, screw that freaking whatever.
All right.
Thing
and
is.
you're not hearing any white noise from me from the fridge.
No.
Bo, I hear white noise from you every time you open your mouth.
It's just a lot of white noise coming off of
True
Bo.
on so many levels.
Yeah. No, you're totally fine. Don't you worry about it. All right, here goes. I'm going to start it, and we're going to get into it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, before we do anything here today on this episode of Core, I would like John to explain to me what Doki Doki Literature Club is in one sentence or less. One paragraph. Just narrow it down and give me everything I need to know in like 2 sentences. Go.
I am gonna do this. I'm gonna steal from what you guys said before the show.
All right.
It is a what's it called? A visual novel? No, a digital novel. What's it called?
Visual novel.
Visual novel. Okay.
Okay.
I have that term. I can do it. Okay. This is the sentence. You ready?
Yeah. Go.
Okay. Here's the sentence.
Okay.
It is a visual novel, but it is more akin to Frog Fractions and From Dusk Till Dawn.
All right. So
what it actually is.
So what I'm going to take from that is, and I've looked at a little preview of this thing, and it looks like anime girls yapping. That's all I can see. There's a complete no commentary 6-hour playthrough on YouTube, and it just looks like 3 anime ladies doing anime lady talking. I scanned through the video. It doesn't appear to be any sort of malfeasance going on in terms of, there's no nudity or anything weird. It's just schoolgirls talking. And then, but what you're saying to me is like when I watched From Dusk Till Dawn, I got halfway through that movie thinking I was watching one movie, and then it suddenly turned immediately into a totally different movie. You're saying at some point during this game, that's the sensation. That's what happens.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Why? Okay, bigger question. Why is the chat room so convinced that I should watch or I should play Doki Doki Literature Club, in your opinion?
Because, Scott, they like to torture you. There's a level of, when we watch people stream, sometimes you watch it because somebody's funny. Sometimes you watch it because you're just passionate about the game and want to learn more. Sometimes we want to watch it because we want to see another human being suffer, but in a fun, innocent way.
That's what would happen to me. I would suffer if I played this. You think?
Okay, here's what would happen.
Okay.
The first bit, where it's the first bit of From Dusk Till Dawn, up to the shoe licking stuff. That bit you would be annoyed as hell through.
Okay.
And people would really enjoy that.
Okay. They would enjoy watching me be annoyed. Then it would do the little
twist.
Yeah.
And you would freak out in a completely different way, maybe. And people would really enjoy that on a whole nother level.
Does it
so there
become...
is 2. We would get a tale of 2 Scotts that would be entertaining.
Yeah. But it still looks like through the whole 6 hours you're getting nothing but 3 anime ladies doing anime stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
So in the story something changes, but really visually and aesthetically it's still those 3 anime ladies with lots of text to read, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, I hate everything about this. I don't want to play it. Bo, what's your take? Bo Schwartz?
It's the same as you. Because I'm so anti-spoiler, I haven't dug too deep into what the twist is, but at the same time, I'm like, the packaging means I won't play this.
Yeah.
It's like someone took barf and wrapped my Christmas present in it. You're like, there's $1 million in this box, and I'm like, I kind of just don't want it.
Yeah.
I kind of just. Well, actually, no, that's not true.
Okay, I got that. Here, wait, I got a good question for you. If somebody said, Bo, here's $5 million. The only caveat is, with this money, no other hitches or strings attached, except every breath you take through your nose smells like hot, foul vomit. For the rest of your life. but here's $5 million. Would you try to get used to it? Or
Well,
would
can I do I have the option of putting a hot poker on my nose and burning out all the nerves afterwards?
No, because worse.
I got family members that I could definitely help out with that money. I feel like it would be selfish to not like help people,
right?
But I would still want to find a solution after, such as just chop off my nose and be the noseless man.
It's the rule would be you would only ever smell it. That's it. You would just smell it. Be hard, right? $5 million. This
reminds me of what you used to do on TMS when you would be like this or that.
Yeah.
You want a kick in the nuts or a poo in the mouth?
The answer to that question is a kick in the nuts, by the way.
Yeah, it is, because it might go wrong in your favor.
Yeah.
But a poo in the mouth, there's no going right.
There's no right way to go. You might get lucky.
I'm talking a real kick in the nuts, not like a grazer.
No, like a real good,
full on risk of ball butt bursting kick.
Sure, pow. But they still might get more toe to taint than you expected, and it might be okay.
The chat room's like, "Where's Scott?" They're like, "Where's Scott going with this?" What do you mean? Where am I going with this? It was Bo's idea.
He's trying to do a gaming podcast, and me and him, John and I, are talking about literature clubs and anime girls.
Hey, literature club was a game. It was a very good game, by the way. I don't think Scott should play it. I don't think Bo should play it.
When did that game come out? How old's that thing? Doki Doki.
I think a year or two. It's really good. It's really, really good.
Like written well? Like a well-written game? Like I'm not going to read it. It's all going to be we found you in the parking lot. Like what's it going to be?
Here's the thing, though. If the game's pretending to be a thing, good writing for that thing is to present itself as that thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it.
So it does a good job with what it's doing. It creates a very cool atmosphere. It achieves what it's going for.
Yeah.
So it's its own thing, but I think you have to want it. I think you kind of have to go to it.
How long is it? Game, 6 hours?
I wouldn't say even that. It took me just.
So if you spend longer talking about whether you should play it or just play it.
Yeah. We almost have talked through the length of the game.
Well, so these guys, I looked up who made it. It's made a game written and developed by a guy named Dan Salvato. He is both designer, programmer, writer, and composer. He did everything, basically. His developer name is Team Salvato, even though it sounds like it's just him.
Yep, the whole team.
I very much looks like that is not a Japanese developer making a anime game. That looks like a dude who knows what he's doing. So part of me's intrigued. I'm glad it came up, but boy, does that game know how to not make me want to play it just by looking at it. Just looking at it makes me want to run the other direction, and I don't want to do it. So, all right. Well, John, once again, you've proved that you did a thing that I don't have to. Hey, speaking of things I want to do that I can't do, I'm going to complain a little bit. All right, everybody, pull the chair up here to core, and we're going to hear Scott complain about a thing. Now,
we all have to take our turns.
I agree. We all have to get our whippings, and mine today. For some reason, this whole screen is blank except for that one icon. But
good visual novel.
It's for yes. Watch this visual novel I'm about to tell you. Blades, specifically the Elder Scrolls Blades. Okay, this is a thing announced last year at E3. They said it was going to be done before the end of the year. It wasn't. They delayed it, and you could still pre-order it. It's a mobile game, so immediately John wasn't interested. I was, though, because I liked what I saw. I thought it looked pretty good. Graphically, it looked better than Skyrim. So I was just interested to see what they were going to do. It's a big publisher, big name. Let's see what this thing's like. It's also a game you pay for. You just straight up pay money for, which I'm always a fan of. And they put it up for pre-order. So you could pay early. And then when it came down, it would just download to your phone and boom, there it would be. So I thought, all right, I talk about video games. This would be a good thing for me to try. Got delayed at the end of the year. Was a little sad about that, but I'm like, whatever. I'd rather the game be finished. Let's get it all the way done and see how things go. Today, I get an email. It says, Elder Scrolls Blades is ready to play. Your pre-order that you made all those months ago is now a thing, and it's on your phone, and you can play it. It said, in not so many words, but close to that. So I thought, sweet. I log in. There's this little shield with 2 swords logo, and it says Blades underneath it. Okay, so I thought, oh, that's cool. And I click it, and it says, hey, welcome to this cool game. The Elder Scrolls, something story, blah, blah, blah. And then there's a little brief fight with a guy who you just quickly train the kind of like combat moves with. And it's all touchscreen crap. And it ends. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, now we're going. We're going to be in a city. It's going to be like, all right, you got to go out and solve the problem because this is an RPG. Nope. I get the following screen, which I'll briefly show to the camera. And I will now read to everyone. Again, for a game I purchased and was told was playable today. Thank you for downloading Blades. To ensure a smooth experience for everyone, we are limiting access during the launch period. Make sure notifications are turned on so we can let you know when you can play Blades. What is even the point? Why didn't you just not give it to me at all and just give it to me when it's done? As far as I know, this is not a super online intensive connected game at all. So why can't I play it? The smooth experience for everyone. We are limiting access during the launch period with no other details, no other information. That sucks. Sucks.
Can you replay the stuff you did even?
No,
like,
it's just stuck on this screen unless I reinstall
it's an
it.
inoperable program?
Yeah, it's got some
basically?
nice music. Listen to this. Hold on.
Wow, this is a Twitch stream someone needs to set up. Just put the phone there and just keep the stream running, and it's like, how long until Blades work?
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Check on it once in a while, have a little Q&A with the chat room, leave for a while, let it stream some more. That's actually not a bad idea. I wish I was set up to do that, but I'm not. But anyway, the point is, this sucks. I'm irritated as all hell with these guys because I don't know what server load problem they're what's the server load? This is supposed to be a single player experience. I'm not grouping with other people. So I don't know why any of that matters. Like, they don't say that here, number one, and I haven't read anything today that indicates why this is like this, but I did talk to a fan who did the same thing I did today and is playing it, no problem. So clearly they're letting people in. Yeah, they're people are getting filtered in.
And Bethesda doesn't have the kind of technology where, you know, when a server's full, you queue and you get a spot in line, and then when it frees up, you can access the server and play. There's nothing like that on your screen.
They own and run one of the most popular MMOs in the market, and you would think they would know. Perhaps ZeniMax and that side of the company are running things totally separately, and I'm placing blame on the wrong team. But you'd think after that experience and what they do with Fallout 76 and all their other network-connected stuff, you'd think they would have some of those features built into here. But I could not be more annoyed. It's
because
not
of the pre-order. You pre-ordered to have it day and date to play, not to wait.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't mind that it got delayed the first time. I wouldn't have minded if it got delayed again. That isn't my problem. It's this, it's ready to play. Here it is. And then I get a brief half tutorial and then this screen saying you can't play it. Here's this game you paid for to play today. We told you could play it today, but you can't actually play it today. And we'll let you know when you can. F off. I'm so annoyed with this. Completely annoyed. And I know there are other people who are bugged by it, but I don't know why I've gotten it so under my skin. I really was looking forward to this. Like, it's actually a game I wanted to play and support, so I paid money for it. Like, legit want to see what they do with it. And
look, it's a mobile game. How rough could it be?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, I don't understand if it's a mobile game that just, if it's not a network reliant game, unless there's some kind of, maybe it's a registration server thing or like a login server thing where you got to log in with your Bethesda credentials.
I mean, like, it seems I don't have a cell plan for data. I use Wi-Fi, and a lot of like casual gaming apps you'll learn have nothing to do with being online, still need the servers available there. And like, I get it. A lot of those games have microtransactions. You're saying this doesn't have that.
It's not supposed to. I don't know. Maybe it does, and they've lied to me.
You know, it's just it's like a Diablo 3 situation where Diablo 3, it's a game integrity thing, I guess. They don't want
I feel like Bethesda's
packs and trainers and stuff like that.
It seems like Bethesda's had a couple of stumbles lately, and they don't get near the heat that Blizzard does when they do. I don't know what that means. Probably we expect more from Blizzard. I don't know, but like, this is the same kind of setup, almost worse, because that E3 was all about Fallout 76, and then they teased this, and then they showed 2 fake trailers for games that are way out, years away from now, to make everybody happy that there's an actual Elder Scrolls game being made. And then they launched 76, and things sucked. No one likes that game. No one's really playing it. In fact, I don't know if you guys noticed, but this week, I didn't put it in any of this news, but Rage 2, the new Wolfenstein, the new Doom
I saw
game,
the trailers for those
are all coming to Steam. And previous to this, everybody thought, oh, well, they're going to do like 76 and they're going to keep it on their launcher. That was their big chance to do that. I think they would have done that had that been successful. I think what probably happened is they sold way less of 76 than they expected because Steam would have just had built-in sales. Like you would have sold it just because where it was. And so I don't know what they're doing.
They're turning down money.
So they had a big.
Everyone can't be Steam.
No, they can't. But they had a big bummer with 76. Now this weirdness. Like, I don't know who they are anymore, those bummer. I really like their MMO. ESO is great. That's a damn fine game.
I mean, the sales is somewhat always separate in the higher from the development, right? Like you have a great game, but then a poor plan to bring to market and to support the game and, public facing stuff, etc.
Yeah.
Just look at Anthem. There's a lot of great stuff in Anthem, and it's getting just beaten, right? You know, and all the positive marketing is just smacking so like these great developer interviews with Casey Hudson. I'm like, I like that guy. He made the Mass Effect series, but why are they out there being all nice when the game's like clearly they need to shut it down and wait another year?
It was a little like when they made their Heroes announcements, and then the first couple of times I would see Blizzard tweets from the Heroes account, and this would have been like after HTC, after the firings at Blizzard and all that. And it would be, hey, who's your favorite healer this week? Like, like it's this like fun little tweet. And it's impossible for me to look at those and go, yeah. I mean, all those things are certainly improving in my mind for Heroes. But my point is, like, they kind of have to go along as if everything's going great. And this Bethesda thing, I don't know if they've released any actual statement today. Let's actually see real quick. Elder Scrolls Blades. Let's see if there's just any kind of like response here in the news. Okay, so we got here's everything you know about Bethesda's early access is now live for some people. No word from them. Like they didn't really warn us about this. And I'm just annoyed.
It's because like the mobile market's casual. Like if something doesn't work, they just move on to the next app.
Yeah, but
but I get your point that they treated it like a flagship Bethesda property. But I don't know, how's that Bethesda card game coming along? Didn't they announce one that same?
They have one going. It's still going.
It's launched.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Scrolls or
what's it called? Elder Scrolls Legends.
Elder Scrolls. Yeah, that's it.
Legends. I played a little bit of Legends. That's actually been out for a while. It's 20. Sorry, it was
on mobile?
2017. Yeah, it's on mobile as well as desktop. But they also changed developers recently. The Eternal developers were building it Direwolf before, and then Direwolf developed it from 2017 to 2018, and then somebody named Sparky Pants Studios now makes it. And people were upset at first, but now I guess they're happy again. I don't know. I think that thing does okay. It has its niche. It's a Hearthstone.
Yeah, it doesn't be critical of it, but it's just it's I don't. Again, I don't know. I'm not even going to pretend to know the mobile market, but I feel like when they announced Blades, everyone just wanted to hear about the next Elder Scrolls, please.
Yeah.
And there was, it sounded like the game was supposed to sink into the new experience in some way, or somehow hooked. I can't remember what it was, but it sounded like, I don't know. It would be a reason for you to pre-order it, I think. I thought it was supposed to.
It may have had some connectivity with ESO or something. I don't know. That's possible. But I don't know what they're doing. It just irritates me, and I'm annoyed, and I love Elder Scrolls, and I don't like it when it gets tainted. And they had a rough launch of ESO, and that tainted it a little bit. That game's really had a good turnaround, though, so I guess taint removed. But
for me, Bethesda, I hope Rage 2 is good, but really, Doom Eternal, that's the game that's got to do it for me. I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're kind of saying, they're in a bit of a rough spot and all that, but I also think we're looking at their, Not to say that these sorts of products can't be excellent and people can't like them. I mean, Scott, your favorite of the Fallouts from that is New Vegas, which would be one of these. But
oh yeah, so good.
right now we're in the also ran kind of market of Bethesda games. Fallout 76 wasn't their next big Fallout game. It was the experimental Fallout game that other people were working on.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls Blades is their mobile game. And no matter how excited you are about it, it's still the mobile game, and it's going to get all the love and attention a mobile game deserves.
Right.
And we're just at a place where these seemingly rough steps that they're taking, they're not their major benchmark releases. We'll see how Rage 2 goes, because I would say that probably strikes me as one that is, and Doom Eternal would be the next one after that. Even Wolfenstein that we're going to talk about coming up, that's the off-year kind of Wolfenstein. That's not the sequel to the last one. It's kind of a what-if side story sort of thing. So there's a lot of stuff that they're putting out, sure, but a lot of it feels like and here's something other people worked on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first side one was Old Blood. You notice how it was the Old Blood and now it's the Young Blood?
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, was it called Old Blood? No.
Yeah, so there was Wolfenstein The New Order, and before 2 came out, they released just a map pack, like a standalone Wolfenstein game. I never actually played it. I should go and play it.
Yeah.
I think it was called The Old Blood.
Oh, all right. Oh, okay. Well, that's definitely connected then, right? Probably.
Yeah. Well, it's just, thematically.
They're having fun with
it. Yeah, it's The Old Blood.
Sure. No, I didn't even know about that. I would also like to play those. I like that game a lot. The core game was awesome. All right. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I just want to say I'm disappointed because I was really hoping to be in my
every
bed.
right to be. That screen
sucks.
I would not be happy working on a product on its launch day, and we know we're going to be giving people that.
Yeah. This music's great, though. Listen to this. Well,
Yeah. They get me hyped for a game I can't play.
yeah, exactly right.
Although, it's a mobile game. Honestly, this might be a feature. Right now, you live in a world where that game could be anything, Scott. That game could be amazing. That game could be great and deep and wonderful and everything your heart desires. Once you play it, there's no putting the lid back on that. You can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Nope.
Once you see it for the mobile game that it is.
Mm-hmm.
Doki
Doki Blades. Looking forward to Doki Doki Blades.
Yeah, the mobile haters telling you to play Doki Doki Literature Club. This is amazing.
It's true.
Yeah, anytime there's a thing I don't like or don't want to talk about, like this, Scott complains about Blizzard announcing games years out would have saved Blizzard from the Blizzard disaster. Different situations, different companies. Actually, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Had Blizzard done the Blades style announcement with the Diablo Immortal game that Bethesda did with Blades, and then showed a trailer, completely fake, by the way, nothing to do with whatever the final Elder Scrolls 6 game will be, which, by the way, they don't call them Elder Scrolls 6 and that's it. They always put something on there, so it's always like Skyrim or Morrowind or Oblivion. So had Blizzard just put a big flaming 4 up, they would have had so much less heat on them. Would have been so much easier for those guys.
Or just drop the Diablo 4 trailer and then launch Immortal during BlizzCon and have everyone hyped for Diablo 4 and be like, yeah, it's a mobile game, but Diablo 4, and then just play their Diablo game.
Yeah, like here's a little something to tide you over.
No trailer. Just like,
yeah.
Did you guys have it go viral and get some, just throw it out there?
We are better PR. We are better PR people than they had.
And it's just like, let's do the most epic trailer for the mobile game and say shit about Diablo 4. And it's like, no, the other way around. Just put the logo Diablo 4.
Yeah, flip it.
And then just launch the game without marketing it at all.
Right. In fact, you know what? Just take that cool trailer you have and slap a 4 at the end because it's a good trailer. You did a nice job.
I love the trailer.
Yeah.
It's really getting to see Li Ming like in full 3D. Like none of the heroes are animated.
Right.
Would have been nice to see some kerosene, but
always, dude. I always want more kerosene.
It's one of those. I wish I could peer into an alternate reality where they say, "Look, we know you're still excited for Diablo 4. We don't have a lot to say, but we'll let this speak for itself." And literally all they had to do, 4 lines on a screen with fire behind it.
Yep.
And I think people still would have been, "Oh my gosh, it's so amazing."
Yeah.
And there would have been people upset going, they didn't show anything, they didn't talk about it. but it wouldn't have been the level of hate that we heard.
Oh, guaranteed, guaranteed. At the very least, it tells you that they're working on a thing you all love. And that's important.
And also that piece of PR that went out before BlizzCon needed to be rethought. Not the tampering one, but the one the video that was like, we got something exciting Diablo related coming at BlizzCon.
Yeah.
Hope you get excited, and then the follow-up is like, don't be that excited. That makes people even more excited.
Which makes me think that there was more to be announced, and they changed gears at some point. I think they put that first video out prematurely and then changed their mind.
Don't change gears. You're gonna launch Diablo 4. How are you not going to give us another Diablo game? In what universe?
Right.
They could have taken an Uber to a grocery store and gotten a cake and picked up a candle with the number 4 on it and had somebody, doesn't even need to be a developer, walk out on stage and put a cake down and put the number 4 on it and light it on fire and go, huh? And it still would have been a better reaction than what they ultimately did.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. I mean, how about this? They could have done this. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, they could have just edited this in, shown a clip, and then dubbed the final word and said this. Diablos.
Yep. I got goosebumps.
They needed to Picard that shit. All right. That's all there is to say about that. Moving on. Hey, check it out. Borderlands had a big day, I guess. Also, they had a lot of technical problems on stage at their announcement, which is kind of a bummer.
I heard about that.
Yeah, it was
I
really
heard
bad.
about it. Thank goodness I didn't see it. I got to come home and just watch a trailer. That's what I got to do.
Presentation extremely uncomfortable. Have you ever seen any where something fails? Even that old Bill Gates blue screen one is famous for it. It's really hard to watch because you know that the people having the problem, like BlizzCon last year when they were having tech problems, it's not the fault of the people on stage. It's just a major tech snafu somewhere, and it's super frustrating. So it was kind of hard to watch. It was rough. Did finally get to see a trailer. We got a Borderlands 3 teaser. Bo wrote 2, but he meant 3. And that was yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever it was. And it's some weird kind of low poly, unfinished looking, strange, ethereal, pretty cool teaser. And it's just like a camera zooming around with a bunch of black and white polygonal
like a
people.
diorama, they call that.
Yeah. Camera pulls out, and now it's the head of the psycho dude that's shooting himself in the head.
And it had like nearly everything except for maybe who the new villains are was like a callback. So you're going like, yes, that guy and her and him and her.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff, which, you know.
I spotted Claptrap in the background getting chased by a skag.
Yeah.
Oh, good. He's back.
I'm a little.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly thrilled that he's back.
Come on now.
I know that they weren't going to do it where, I mean, I knew we were going to get it, right? That was going to happen no matter what.
Right.
Literally the franchise.
Yeah, he's your guy. So I totally get that. But, sorry, Chad, I'm going to show this if I can real quick. Here we go. There's video of it. Anyway, or part of it. For some reason, Bo's head is right in the way. Why? Okay, that's fantastic.
Don't want me to move it?
No, it's not
just
you.
Go over there, Bo, please. You're blocking.
It's not you. It's this freaking. I have this screen done funny.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, there it is.
So
now you can see it. Camera zooming around, a bunch of characters high-fiving, stuff blowing up everywhere. And when it finally zooms completely out, it's the face of that kind of main dude, or the main baddie that you always see a ton of in the game. I thought it was pretty cool, and I was like, all right, sweet, you've got a little something there. Show me more. What else you got? And today they showed an actual trailer. Oh my gosh, Bo. I didn't notice it until just now.
My head, so just...
I didn't know that was coming, and John really kept quiet about it.
Yeah, I was just waiting. I was like, Scott clearly has not seen this yet.
No, I had no idea. But then there's the real trailer. That happened today.
Yes.
And I am really torn, guys.
Okay, I'm really curious about this because I watched the trailer after I heard you say I have things I don't like about it, and I watched them. I was like, well, I wonder what those would be. Yeah. And I really liked the trailer.
I mean, the
maybe
trailers
with a few nitpicks.
I'm
but
gonna take
they're
a shot at it.
Okay, take a
nitpicks.
shot. Take a shot.
I mean, it wasn't a cinematic trailer. It wasn't really a gameplay trailer. Everyone kind of moves in slow motion and kind of weird.
Yeah,
Right?
it did. They do, sure, because it's character model rigs on.
And I compared it to the Borderlands 2 because I had this initial reaction of like, I'm really excited for this, but I don't know. It seems like in-gamey cutscene, like the game's not meant to be done this way, but the video team put something together.
Yeah.
But the second Borderlands 2 was even worse, and I remember being super stoked for it. So I was like, okay, this is aesthetically on their level.
It may be, and I guess where I'm having trouble, and I've seen a couple of editorials to this to make this similar point, and so whether I'm right or not, I don't know, but it feels like there's not a lot of difference here between this and 2. Like,
Yeah,
I just
that's
don't.
what I was kind of thinking.
It doesn't feel like anything new's being shown so much, and maybe I don't care because I want the experience of the gameplay again. I want the loot. I want all that. I want some tweaks to that. They didn't talk about any of that, but personalized loot, for example, in your groups, I think would be great. I cannot stand sifting through loot between every damn fight, trying to figure out what you're going to give who and why you took it before he did. And I hate that. So I want Diablo-style loot with multiplayer. But anyway, my main problem is I'm just not seeing anything that strikes me as new. Either there's no huge innovation happening visually for me. Like, I mean, it looks like a nice version of what we've already seen a billion times.
Well, I will interject there because I recently tried to play Borderlands 2 again.
Yeah.
Because I got on this. I wanted a shooting loot game of some kind to play, and I went through a bunch of them, and Borderlands 2 was one of the ones I pulled up.
Yeah.
That game does not hold up visually.
No, it doesn't.
It is not as good as I remembered it. And I started playing it, and I was like, oof.
Right.
This game feels floaty and weird and not as tight as I remember it. And it got me excited for this game, even without knowing any of the details, because I was just like, ooh, I want to play this style of game, but I need it to look a little better. I need it to look a little crisper. I need it to play a little tighter, and I'll be good. And I think that's why I didn't suffer from what you did, because you are 100% right. It looks like just more Borderlands.
Yeah.
But having gone back to try to get more Borderlands, I was actually pretty disappointed with how it looked back then.
Mm-hmm.
So just seeing the little touches, I was like, okay, maybe this will be all right.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, I guess. And also, okay, here's my other complaint. Again, gameplay solves everything. So once I get my hands on it, I may just, who cares? Like, all my complaints right now are purely just like, I don't know, something about this doesn't feel right. But that may all change on day one. My biggest complaint, though, is probably from an aesthetic point of view, from its source material. It looks less Mad Maxy than usual. It looks a lot more, hey, everyone's a robot. We all have pink hair. It's more alternate universe stuff and less this is a wasteland post-apocalyptic thing. And that's a Scott problem. I admit it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a me
I was
specific
reading that
problem.
one of the villain factions that you'll be facing is Malawan, and usually their weapons are like the alien toxic kind of like specialized weaponry.
Yeah.
So there's going to be like Japanese robots, but the thing you have to realize is that they're going to make fun of it.
Yeah.
And if the writing, to me, the strength of the Borderlands game is on gameplay, but also if it's funny. And if you want to contrast and compare Borderlands 2 to the Borderlands pre-sequel, which was not funny. Like, it was just not funny at all and not engaging and didn't have good VO while you went around and played. So to me, the strength of that game is going to be on how juvenile and mildly racist it is.
John, you played didn't you play the Telltale thing?
So actually, if you were to ask me, John, what's your favorite Borderlands? The answer is Tales from the Borderlands, because it's the only one that isn't awful when it comes to story. I'm going to go hard against what Bo just said. Sorry, Bo.
All right.
I think Borderlands thinks it's way funnier than it is. I think it had a level of charm for the first 5 minutes of that first game that quickly wore off, and I have kind of just rolled my eyes at ever since.
Borderlands 2?
No, the first Borderlands. By the time I got to Borderlands 2, I was super done with it. It was like
Borderlands 2 is when it got good.
No, it was awful.
It's a laugh a minute, that game.
Borderlands 1 started like, okay, I see what they're going with, and then it got to Borderlands 2, and I was done with it from the get-go, and it never got me back. The reason I like Borderlands 2 is because I was able to eventually just say, okay, you know what? This is never going to do anything for me. I will turn off all the voices. I will turn off everything but the gun sounds, and I will put on podcasts and TV shows and anything else and just not engage with their story or their world because I cannot stand any of the characters. I don't think any of this is funny or good.
You take that back, Mr. Torg. You know what everyone likes? Explosions.
That's right. Brr.
But yes, the thing that I was most excited about from the trailer is the main characters from Tales from the Borderlands are in there. So they're not just ignoring that as a, one-off thing that somebody else did. They're actually going to bring them in the universe, and that's really cool.
I hope they don't go John's way. I hope John hates the game, because if they try and Casey Hudson this business and make like a deep BioWare story in it, I'm gonna cry.
Really?
I like the whole point of Borderlands is to play it and just to hear Handsome Jack go, hey, I just bought a horse encrusted with diamonds. I think I'll take a shit on it. Come get me. And it's like, you're like, oh, this is stupid. And then they keep going, hey, well, I'm tired of my horse covered in shit, so I flushed it down the toilet, but then it's made of diamonds, so it got stuck. Anyways, you're a loser. Goodbye. And he keeps going and going and going. And for me, it gets funnier and funnier just how stupid the game can get.
You don't want them to take themselves too seriously. I understand that. I get it. And I don't want them to either. I don't want them to either.
Neither one of us are right or wrong, but my hope is I hope it is dumb. I hope the writing is funny, at least the way I would take it.
Yeah. How do you feel about that city?
I hope it's funny too. We agree on that. We both hope the game's funny.
What do you think about the city? Because that's not cool.
I love the city.
No. You got this wrong, see? Here's the problem. The city shouldn't exist in this world. It's a devastated
where I pick a fight with both of you.
It's a See, it's all them. It's my Mad Max purism.
I hate it. It's out. It's out there, Scott. I can look at it anytime I want. I just look out this window and it's Mad Max.
Because you live in Arizona. It's not. It's not the same. I'm saying they're walking around in a pristine, beautiful, untouched city. What the hell is that in a Borderlands game? I mean,
I think it's part of the.
It might be up on the space station.
Maybe.
Yeah,
well, I mean, the Hyperion moon is dead, right?
Is it? I don't know. I didn't pay attention.
And I know it's several planets. I know it's not the same. Like, everyone can tell me all day long, no, Scott, you don't understand. Mad Max is set on Earth in the wake of nuclear holocaust, and it's many, many years after the horrible thing. And you're right, it is. And this is not that. And I get it. And it's okay that it's not that. I just hope when it hits, I don't know what I expected. I expected it may be purely, you know what it may be? Visually, it looks like Tales from the Borderlands or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
Like it looks, and that looked good. That looked like a good game visually. Certainly, I don't know if everything was animated well or not, because those are always a little bit sketchy, those Telltale games. But
yeah.
But any particular screenshot of a character or somebody turning their head and talking to you or whatever, that all looked great. And that's what this looks like to me. I guess maybe I was just hoping there would be a next level of fidelity, because really the last time they've done this was 360 PS3 era.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a next-gen Borderlands. It looks like a cleaned-up Borderlands 2.
Yeah, like a high-def, it's like almost like a remastered version, but it's a new game, so it's not really remastered, which we'll get to remastered in a minute, because they announced that today as well. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, actually, we'll just jump right into it. They also are putting out a remaster of the original Borderlands to PC, PS4, Xbox One in April, and a whole bunch of work being done to bring that up to par, and that includes stuff like 4K resolution, HDR lighting, stuff like that, upgraded models and textures and stuff like that, which is great. But that's not the game I want remastered. I want 2 remastered. 2 is better than 1. Like, straight up, 2 is a better game than 1. So maybe what I'm really waiting for is Rage 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, hey, I think it's safe to say, unless it comes out and is just getting the worst reviews known to mankind, and maybe even if it is,
yeah,
I think probably all three of us are in on Borderlands 3. We're probably all going to play it.
Yeah.
We might even all play it together.
Likely.
So, I mean, I think at this point there's a level of, you know, like I said earlier, I have nits to pick. But overall, you know, I like the style of game that is. Whether or not I always gel with the humor or not, I like playing those games, and I'm looking forward to playing another one.
Did you notice that they were all kind of spiritually reflective of the There Will Be Dungeons party?
I did notice that Stanley was in there. I was like,
so
what?
Stanley's in there with his little magic mimicry stuff, and we got Hope, who loves guns and, you know, has extra arms. I don't know. She just has a Hope vibe to her with the vest and the, you know, pants.
Totally. Nash has got.
You know what I mean, though. I think, and Varel is the big robot guy who has a pet, little Bok Bok. Well, I think his ultimate is he has a pet. He's like he's a Beastmaster, but he's a robot.
Yeah.
He's got
I was gonna say the robot is Nash because his one eye.
Yeah.
No. The other girl transforms into a robot. So Nash literally transforms.
I see.
Okay. Transforms into a robot. It's literally your D&D.
Well, I guess I know which one I'm playing.
I mean, the thing is...
Okay, it was the one I was going to play anyway, probably.
I know. See, as I was saying, Nash should probably play the robot. I mean, Scott, your name's not Nash.
No, my name is definitely not... My real name is not Nash, but I go by that on TV. Look at this, though. These guys, they've decided to stick with their comic book aesthetic, that kind of sketchy, inky thing. No problem with that. Like, I think that's rad. I think it was daring when the first game came out, and I'm fine with them continuing that. I didn't need this to look like some ultra-realistic Unreal 4 Engine 5, you know, thing. So stick to your aesthetic. It's totally cool. But I just need to... I guess I need to play it. I just need to play it. And here's the... Oh, you know what? Here's the big honor. Here's the thing that whether I like it or love it or just like it. If the game does personalized loot, I'm in. 100% in. Yeah. I know that seems small, but that's a big deal to me.
No, it won't do it. I guarantee. You know why? Because it sells on loot explosions.
Well, they still can have loot explosions.
Loot, you don't get all the explosions.
Sure you do. Screen. Just like Diablo, you have a thing goes blah, 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 and spits it all over the place. And then you find out one of you got something different than the other guy. Nothing wrong with that. You still have loot explosions.
If you play with friends, it doesn't matter.
It does.
I'm with Scott. I don't want to do the sorting loot thing. It always felt antiquated as soon as Diablo 3 came out and I went back to playing Borderlands 2. I was like, oh right, I can't just pick stuff up. I have to.
Yeah. Not only that, it slows the game down.
Sniper rifle.
Everything gets slowed down. It's like, okay, what are we doing? Hold on, someone's got to find a thing. This doesn't. I don't like this one as much. Throw it on the ground. Wait, where's my shotgun? Did you pick it up? All of that sucks. I don't even care if you're the closest friends on the planet. It's the worst. You could be
98% of it's vendor trash.
Yeah, and I want my vendor trash, and I don't want anybody else touching my vendor trash.
Yes. We are now in a new era of this. It isn't just Diablo, Destiny, freaking even I know they're having problems, but Anthem. Like all those kinds of games. Looter shooters, games that are just like Diablo or otherwise, and if they're multiplayer like that, they all do personalized loot now. They have to do it. If they don't do it, it will be weird, in my opinion, and it may be a killer for me. But I'll still probably play solo. Who am I kidding?
Yeah, I'd play by myself probably.
Because I did that anyway last time, and I loved.
Games are so much better co-op. Honestly, it's gonna be. It would be hard to go back to play Borderlands 2 solo. It's fun.
Well, I want to play with you guys.
I'm really like, it's like, you know how we play Vermintide together. None of us really go in and play that game solo.
No,
it's the experience is so much better when playing with people.
I agree, but I don't know that. It depends on the game. Like I don't want to play Destiny solo, but I like playing Diablo solo as much as I would with friends. I liked playing like Borderlands. I played both ways, and I liked it both ways. I think it just depends on the game. Yeah. But you're not wrong.
I'm not saying there's one right way to play it. I just, I'm really looking forward to playing it. I'm a little. I feel like the Borderlands 2 characters were a little more like trolly and funny on the surface.
Yeah,
we have yet to see what they're going to be like. But you had the middle finger guy, Salvador.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like. That's what I want. And I'm like, there's no guy like that in the cast that I can tell right now of playable characters.
Well, didn't they do a trailer last time with 2 or maybe the pre-sequel where they put out like an overall trailer like this one, and then later they got real charactery, snarky, story, funny trailer, if I remember that right.
They were introduced by name in the trailer. This one they haven't introduced any names. It's still very teasery.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that could be a part of it too. Is this is just a trailer? We're gonna get more details. I think they said on April 4th.
Yeah, 3rd.
So we're kind of in a holding pattern, and right now we've got one video, well, sort of 2 videos to go off of for all of our information, and I think our stories might change as we learn a little bit more about it.
Yeah, and like I say, I mean, I put a lot of hours into especially 2. 1 I kind of popped off of pretty quick, but I played a lot of Borderlands 2, and I loved it, and I really want 3. So bring it on. I guess I just wasn't blown away. And this is like movie trailers. Like, if you're not blown away, it's okay. Movie might be great anyway.
It's fine.
Yeah. I remember thinking, I mean, this is blasphemy. Well, go ahead.
I am disappointed in the lack of Mr. Torg.
You've been saying that in our Slack chat as well. Well, explain why.
So
why is
Mr.
Torg so great?
Is my favorite part of the Borderlands franchise is Mr. Torg, and he's expansion content. But he was so good in Mr. Torg's Campaign of Carnage, I think that's what it was called, that they added him in Bunkers and Badasses, which is where you played Dungeons and Dragons with Tiny Tina, but then you're just in a Dungeons and Dragons world with fantasy monsters. Like dwarves and skeletons and dragons. You ever play that expansion?
No, I never got through the main game itself.
And then so what ends up happening is Mr. Torg ends up being a pretty important quest giver in Bunkers and Badasses.
Yeah.
And it's pretty epic.
I'm looking at him now. He is... Well, I know why you like him. He's basically you. Look at this guy, John. Look up Mr. Torg. It's Bo. Like, that's you, dude. Minus the beard.
Yeah. And like all the rippling muscles.
Yeah.
It really is. Oh my gosh.
It's totally Bo.
Just looks like him. Yeah.
That makes me laugh. All right.
And all of his VO is hilarious.
It's good stuff, huh? All right.
Yeah, so I want him in the main game. I mean, but I don't know. He'll probably show up, I'm sure. He's got to show up.
They might. You never know. Man, your connection sounds good tonight. I just want to reiterate how good you sound tonight.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's really good. All right, if you want to get your Borderlands remaster, you're going to get that this year also, and it's in April, literally next month. So I don't think I can bring myself to care, but there's that. I kind of wish that was just a re-upping of everyone's current version they have, especially on PC. Just let us have that. If they did that, I might check it out, but I'm not paying for a new Borderlands 1.
No, it's free. If you own Borderlands...
Oh, does it say it's free? Where does it say? It doesn't say
you get something if you already bought Borderlands on Steam.
Oh, it's okay. So that's I missed that, and that's what I was hoping.
I was reading something saying, like, I mean, if you ever bought expansion content for 1, you get all the expansion content. It's like I guess a Metro update Redux kind of deal.
Yeah,
you just get it.
Tougher boss, 4K.
It sounds like they're not doing much in the way of tweaks to the base game, though, except something about the final boss and textures and graphics.
Yeah, it says something about new character customization for the Vault Hunters, tougher boss battle, and the map. I guess the way that the mini map works in 2, they are putting in 1 or something.
Okay,
anyway.
Okay.
Some little, the quality of life stuff, sounds like.
Yeah. There's a big jump between 1 and 2, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, 2, there was a lot of improvements to 2. Hopefully we see just... Borderlands is all on the gameplay. Like, I don't need it to have a flashy trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Just if it's fun to play, then that's it.
Yeah. They've earned that. They've earned it.
And I don't mind buying their DLC. I have bought and played all of their campaign DLC, and they've been worth the money every time.
Yeah.
And buying little expansions to get new heroes and stuff is totally cool in my book. So their expansion plan, I think is my favorite for like a launch game and then DLC kind of deal. They really put their money's worth in most of the expansion stuff that you get.
I hope people aren't still soured on the pre-sequel, because I didn't like that game at all.
I couldn't play it either. I gave it a good haul, I think. It just lacked... That's why I say the humor is really important. Mm-hmm. Getting to the next joke, getting to the next punchline, like having fun killing, but like having something fun to look forward to is really important to that game.
Also, floating around the surface of the moon and not being able to breathe. And having a breathe
That
in air
was
mechanic sucked.
what made it a no for me. As soon as you add air mechanics, I'm done.
Yep.
I'm out.
I don't want it. Not one of my favorite things. We should do one of these weeks. We should do a whole list of our least favorite and our favorite mechanics in video games. So
That'd be fun.
Yeah, everything from escort missions to this dumb air mechanic. For me, timers. I hate timers. There's a lot of stuff. You know, we're gonna have different lists, but we ought to do that. We ought to all separately go off and go, here's our top 10, here's our bottom 10, and then just have some fun on an episode.
That's a fun thing to do.
Yeah, especially in a world. I saw Anthem got its big patch. Speaking of Anthem and all of this, and they said you now have 20% more meter to your jetpack before it overheats. And I was like, boys, girls, you literally have a fun slider right there with that percentage.
Yeah.
Literally, the more you drag it one way, the more fun your game becomes.
Yep.
So by all means, keep doing 20% increments.
Yeah.
Let's talk when you make it infinite or at least a obscene amount, because right now there's one thing you're nailing in the game and you only let people do it for about 5 seconds at a time.
Yep. You're right. I completely agree. And by the way, I was watching Star Trek Discovery Season 2. It's really good, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, highly recommend it. Even more than 1. Season 1 was okay, but 2 is killing it. And I think I'm convinced that somebody on that production team, I don't know what their job is. Someone there is a Mass Effect fan. Now, you could say Mass Effect was also super informed by Star Trek. Like, there's a lot of Star Trek DNA in Mass Effect, but it's come back around in Discovery. Like, those guys are straight up. There are aliens, types of aliens, the kind of suits and uniforms they're wearing. It feels like I'm playing Mass Effect sometimes. And it's great.
Did they fix the Klingons?
The Klingons are... I know you don't like them because their heads are all different and stuff. I know that's a sore spot for Bo. There's still a little bit of that, but you don't... The Klingons don't...
Worf is a super important character that I've watched over 2 series.
All right.
To me. Like, you know, and just to be like... It's like Worf didn't exist. It's gross.
No, they still... They're... Okay, so there's this Klingon bad guy in this season that they have to deal with, who is straight up old school Klingon. Like Worf era Klingon.
Oh, good.
Like House of Moog and all that.
They retcon it and make it a thing, then I can probably deal.
I think the way they're doing it...
Can I ask a quasi-controversial Star Trek question?
Do it.
I genuinely want to know this, because I know Bo loves Worf. I know Worf has a huge following.
Yeah.
For people who like Worf, is there anybody out there who thinks Worf is great, but either hasn't seen or didn't care for Deep Space Nine?
Oh.
Because this is my case. If you are presented with just the evidence on The Next Generation, Worf is a useless character. He accomplishes nothing he sets out to do. He gets knocked out constantly. He gets beat up constantly. He loses almost every fight he's in unless the story just absolutely requires that he wins it.
Yeah.
Especially with Troy, am I right?
He just doesn't amount to much of anything. And I know he's better in Deep Space Nine, but I've never seen it. So I'm just curious if there are any pure Next Generation Worf fans out there.
So in Star Wars land, we sort of evaluate characters on how awesome and cool the things they do. In Star Trek land, it's not necessary to be the victor all the time or to do cool things.
Or ever in
What's
his
important
case.
is that we explore the interesting science fiction concept through the episode. And if that requires Worf to take a knee one too many times, then we're all okay with it. We're endeared by Worf.
Yeah, I love Worf.
There's your Star Trek answer.
I like Star Trek. Don't treat me like I'm not a Star Trek fan.
Okay. You were like, how can you like Worf if all you saw was TNG?
I'm just curious if there's any major Worf fans just from TNG.
I think from season 4 and forward, Worf is way closer to the Worf we get in DS9 than the Worf you're talking about. The Worf who was constantly going and then getting shut down, and Picard telling him his idea sucks, or he gets beat in a fight. That's a lot of that is seasons 1 through 4. I think from 4 on things get better for our buddy Worf. It's about the time he started getting cooler hair and he was less
his hair
purple.
gets longer.
Yeah.
And he was less purple faced. Like there was issues in the in the early seasons.
Then his kid shows up, though. That's the problem. Is then he got so many cool points, and then his kid showed up, and he started losing cool points again.
That Alexander character is one of the worst characters in the history of Star
Trek. He's supposed to be. He's an embarrassment to Worf too. Like it's just by design, if you ask me. Like,
it is, but he's just so much conflict all the time. In DS9, Worf comes late. Like it's like season 4 or something that Worf even shows up there. It's after TNG ends, and then he heads over there, and he and O'Brien are now the only two carryovers. O'Brien at the beginning of the series, and then Worf later. What I loved about that was, and I still, John, think you're missing out to not watch DS9. DS9 is fantastic.
I want to watch it. It just is real slow to start.
It's
you will love Garrick. Garrick's
amazing. But you're gonna struggle that first season. But that's all Star Trek ever. First seasons are all rough, all of them, including TNG. So I would just know that going in, but let it soak in. You're going to enjoy it because by the time you're done with it, you're going to go, man, that was one of my favorite Star Trek series. It may not be your favorite, but you're going to like it.
I believe it. It might be because I watched. I was sitting in a break room at work when just Deep Space Nine was on TV. I didn't know that that's what it was. I just saw Star Trek up, and it looked like the Next Generation. I was just watching. I was like, this fight is awesome. Yeah. When did Star Trek get fights this awesome in it? And then all of a sudden I started seeing characters. I was like, oh, this is Deep Space Nine. Yeah. I should watch this show. Yeah. So I tried, and I hated the first couple of episodes, and I stopped.
Yeah, they're like all Star Trek series. There's a couple of like, what the hell? I mean, I gotta say, I didn't love the 1950s science fiction writer angle at one point in there. I was like, there's some weirdness in there.
Yeah, there is. DS9 is not
immune to the Next Generation. Like freaking, what is this episode? Like, can't watch this.
You just have to get past that early crap, and they all have it, and a lot of them have it at the end too. TNG's season 7 is one of the worst seasons of Star Trek of all time, but by then you just love everybody and you don't care. And then they ended it really strong. So I would recommend you watch it. But the other thing I was going to say, this is the big reason I love that he even went there. For me, this was the only reason it even mattered, and I loved it. In 1998, I'm in the movie theater. I'm watching Star Trek: The Next Generation, or Star Trek: First Contact.
Yeah,
probably the best movie they made. Certainly in the TNG run, I think it's the best. And I'm watching that, and Worf's not on the ship anymore because he's not in the crew because he's on DS9, and that's in the story that he's not there. So midway through the story, or it's earlier than that, but Worf shows up in the Defiant.
Yeah.
Which is this rad ship that's used to...
It's like secret illegal tech warship to keep off the Cardassians, and he's captaining it and shooting the crap out of the Borg.
Yep, so he flies it over.
And it's getting destroyed, the Borg are pounding him, and he grabs his captain's chair, and he's like, perhaps today is a good day to die.
It's so good.
They go like,
it's so good.
They're ready to go like all just suicide kamikaze.
It's so good, dude. You're so right. And then he joins the crew for the movie, and then gets back on Defiant, flies back to DS9, his current post. It's great. It's great.
I love Movie Worf. Movie Worf's great.
Yeah.
I just wish I saw a little more Movie Worf in this generation.
Well, okay, so to finish this discussion about Star Trek, Michael Dorn plays Worf, pushed for years, may still be pushing, I don't know, pushed for years for a Worf-focused Star Trek series, and may even be pushing more now that CBS All Access is willing to fiddle around like that, like they're doing the Picard thing soon.
They should do it before he gets too old.
Totally should. And
they should do it.
He looks great. He looks awesome.
You hear that and you go, what are you waiting for?
I agree. I would be all into it.
Although really old Worf could also be really cool.
That's fine with me. Make him old Worf. I don't care. Like great. Just Worf. Worf the show. Star Trek Worf.
What planet do they go to retire?
Kronos.
No, not the. Oh, I guess he would go to a Worf at the Klingon planet. Because there's a retirement planet, isn't it? Like Rigel 5 or something
Rigel,
like that?
No, it's
that's a
Ryza.
Pleasure planet. Yeah.
Ryza is the planet.
Yeah.
Go there and run around in his little onesie with little wiener hanging out.
I just picture there's a retirement home planet, and it's like Golden Girls, but with war.
Oh my gosh, I would watch that show, actually.
It's like instead of Green Acres or something, it's like Star Acres retirement
Yeah.
facility.
Look, chat room's got a fuzzy bucket says Star Trek Senior Center. I'm in.
I like it. I like it.
I'm in.
And to be clear, before people start throwing Scott emails about why does John like Worf, I do like Worf. The reason it stands out to me is because I like Worf, and every time he's in a scene, I'm rooting for him, and every time he loses, and it stands out to me for that reason.
They use him for a lot of comic relief and that kind of thing, and
yeah. He's like they always did with Spock, and they did with Data to some extent. He's this extreme personality that you can then riff off of, and it's kind of
they're OP in some situations too, so they find some contrivance to get them out of the way, so that the weaklings have to struggle.
Yeah, he is very OP, and that's why it sucks that he got hurt so much. Like, remember that time the crate fell on him, and he?
That's what I was thinking. He just breaks his back, and he's paralyzed.
Yeah, and he's just gonna commit suicide, and he's like, "That's what we do. The honorable thing is just to end my own life," and nobody will help him do it. Crusher's like, "No way, I'm doing this," or maybe it was Pulaski that season. I don't remember. But then he says, Oh no! One of them was he was actually dead in sickbay, and then he came back because it turns out he's got 2 of every organ. So he had all this redundant organs kick in.
He's also a space marine.
Yeah, dude, he's all like genetically modified to keep the Emperor alive. That's
Which
amazing.
Apparently everybody on the crew forgot for dramatic effect. Oh right, Klingons with their duplicate biology. Oops.
Yeah, oops. What were we thinking?
Yeah.
Crusher.
Our bad.
She's too big. She had a pubescent son driving her up the frickin' wall. There's a lot to say about all that. Yeah.
This is a good place to bring back to gaming related.
Oh.
We need a good Star Trek adventure game.
I agree.
A good one. Like, remember those Pixel VGA 25th anniversary original series Star Trek, the Space Questy type game? Like, we need that. We need that. Is it CBS that owns all the rights?
CBS owns it all. Yeah.
Like, go get Casey Hudson. Tell him to stop working on Anthem.
Casey, I've never heard you say Casey Hudson so often in one show.
I know.
There's been so many interviews with him, and he seems like a great guy. It's just, Anthem. Anyways, I don't want to talk about Anthem. He has the Mass Effect pedigree. That trilogy, no matter how you think about it, how it ended, was incredible.
Yeah.
Get him making a Star Trek
like
game.
a really well made. I've been playing this game called Unavowed on the stream lately. It's this really cool game. It came out last year. It's a clicker. It's like a advent, like what you're talking about. And while they've gone retro graphically, they don't depend on it being it's hard to explain. It's retro on purpose for style, but it feels like a modern game. It's all voice acted, so no just reading text, no pixel hunting, just smart puzzles. Somebody like that, give them the job, say, come in here and make a modern Trek game. I don't care what series you base it on, or some whole new thing in the Trek universe. That would be amazing. I'd play the shit out of that.
Like Telltale, and I know they're no longer operating, but Telltale did usher in this idea of narrative gameplay, visual novels, if you will,
right?
That we could definitely do in the Star Trek universe, which I think lends itself because, like, it's about problem solving and interpersonal relationships. Like, it could just
Okay, if that other thing was called Doki Doki Wharf, I'm in. I'd be all in.
Doki Doki Wharf.
What's this? Doki Doki Batleth Club.
Yeah, there you go. But Batleth Club. Oh, that's a good one. I like it. All right. Anyway, the main point I was going to make was that Discovery Season 2 is really good, and now we'll move on to Wolfenstein Youngblood, which also got the trailer treatment this week. It's like John described it. It reminds me of like the Far Cry of New Dawn kind of stuff, where it's shorter. It's more of an in-between chapter. I don't have any problem with that. I think, by the way, I think New Dawn's really good. So, like, it's the only Far Cry game that I've enjoyed since 3. So that is not a bad thing to say about a game that it's shorter or whatever. But by all accounts, this looks like one of those, and it's very co-op-y. You get to be one of the lady sisters, right?
One of the lady sisters.
Not just the lady sisters, but I take it they're the 2 daughters of BJ Blazkowicz.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, Blazkowicz. Blazkowicz.
No, it's Vitz.
Yeah, that is how they say it.
Like, I think, like, if you just say it's witch, but it's Vitz.
Oh, is it Vitz? I always said just BJ Blazkowicz when I was younger. Yeah. Is that not it?
Well, yeah, like when you were younger, no one pronounced. There wasn't voice acting in Wolfenstein, so you called it Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein, yeah.
BJ Blazkowicz. But now that they have like actual European accented characters, like BJ Blazkowicz, welcome to the Dungeon of Doom.
Yeah.
And like now I know how it's pronounced because of VO. So.
Well, because back then it was just like a joke. It's like Carmack sitting around going, "What's his name? How about Blazkowicz? Because he's always blasting things." Like that's where that came from. And now
what about his first name? Let's just call him BJ.
Yeah, like a blowjob. Get it? Meh, meh.
Hilarious. Well, nothing more American than a BJ.
Do you think that's where it came from?
I don't know. I know that the early id days were fart jokes, and
I mean, Wolfenstein was not known for its lore, so I mean, you just
you just ran around the hall going boo-ho and shoot people, and they'd go,
yeah,
mein Leben, and fall on the ground. Yeah, I used to love that though. Oh, this game's pretty. Wow, I'm looking at the trailer. This is good looking. Oh, lots of blood. I'm loving it.
Did you play 2 yet, Scott?
Yes, I loved 2.
Bo, you said you hadn't, right?
I bought it and I couldn't run it, but I have a new graphics card, so it's on my to-do list.
Get it on there.
Gosh.
Get it on there, Bo.
Honestly, it's so good. I'm jealous of the fact that you are going to get to play it for the first time soon.
Is this only co-op, and is it just 2 people? Can I?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so you can't get 3 or other friends in there. All right, that's kind of a bummer. But but I can play this solo, I assume. I don't have to play with somebody else. She'll have like robot sister.
I guess so.
AI sister.
Is that how that works?
I don't know. But that's cool. That game's cool, and I like the series. I like what they've done with it.
I dig the modern sensibility of it too. I'm just like, since it's always dude bro, I'm like, girls are shooters too, and so making 2 girl characters is pretty interesting.
Girls can shoot people up too. Let's get them in here.
I mean, how many shooter games have single female protagonists? Not like you can pick from a dearth of characters. But
single is in solo. You mean not
first person shooter,
not unmarried?
Because you. Like, you play BJ Blazkowicz, or you play the Doom Marine, or Call of Duty. Who do you play?
It's a lot of people. I don't know if it even counts, but usually it's one of a lot of dudes.
It's usually bros, yeah.
Soap McTavish.
Yeah.
Duke Nukem, you play Duke Nukem. What are the modern shooters like?
So
what do you play?
Perfect Dark had Joanna Dark in it.
Metroid Prime had Samus.
Samus and
first person shooters.
Prime is
a first person shooter. Okay, how about hold on, I know another one. Oh, You Never Live to Die Twice, or whatever it was called. Do you guys remember that game?
Oh, No One Lives Forever.
Was that what it was called?
Yeah.
That title was so good that it always sounds like an actual James Bond title, and I always think I'm saying it wrong because it sounds like a real movie.
Only reason I remember it is because people used to abbreviate it, and it abbreviates to Nulf, which is a very odd sounding name.
Yeah, that's a great game though. My gosh, that game was good. Oh, Mirror's Edge, that's first person.
Portal and Mirror's Edge, we've got 5.
Portal.
Now, Portals and Mirror Edge, not shooters, but we'll count them because the number's probably going to be low.
Yeah.
But you're not wrong. I mean, this is undisputed. There's not enough women in those roles.
I just mean shooters. Yeah, there's not a lot. Like, so
I think the Doom Marine's a lady. We just don't know it.
Like, in Far Cry, you always play a dude, right? Yeah. Crisis, you're always a dude.
Well, you can pick in some of the Far Cries, but yeah, again, it's picking from.
So if it's a choice, it doesn't count. It's that you have the bravery to make a game, and it's a woman's perspective, and that's it.
Yeah, wasn't one of the unfounded. What was
Chat room says Doom Marine's gender is Doom. I agree with that.
Thank you for clarifying that.
That's pretty good.
That's a really good point.
It's a real Doom answer right there. I like it.
I wish I liked Mirror's Edge more than I did.
Halo is the Master Chief.
Yeah. You know what I could go for though? We were talking about sorry, what's her name? Freaking Joanna Dark. I could totally go for a Perfect Dark remake or a new game.
Perfect Dark was amazing.
I loved
that game.
Yeah, it was great.
Because I really like GoldenEye, but Perfect Dark took it to this really cool aesthetic, and it was a good shooter. Yeah, have cool weapons for the time.
Chat room saying Horizon Zero Dawn. That's not a first-person shooter though.
Yeah,
first-person shooter.
Also not a shooter. It's third person and not a shooter really. But yeah, like I'm all for. I like playing games with Lara
Croft. Like it's games where the world interacts with you as a woman and not as a male. Yeah. It's even though a lot of those games, some feminists might argue, it's still male gaze kind of crap. But not going there, just keeping it simple. At least we have a singular character who is you're playing a female.
Well, I always heard that John plays female rogues in World of Warcraft so he can look at their bums. That's what I've heard.
I mean, a lot of that sentence was true, but not. I wouldn't say 100%.
Just not all of it is what you're saying. Okay,
yeah,
I understand.
Oh, geez, Jurassic Park Trespasser. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I forgot about that game.
Nobody thinks about that game, but yeah.
You're looking down your own cleavage with a heart tattoo. That's true.
Yeah. That's how you knew what your health was at. Get your boobs.
Is that
real?
Real?
Yeah, that's real. Unfortunately, that is the reality.
It's not a good game. Let's make that clear. Yeah, and
they thought they were making a cinematic game, so they didn't want any HUD elements. So she would count how many bullets in the gun rather than tell you. So like when you shot, she would just go 9 more, 8, 7, 6. As you're pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
And their way to show your health, because we don't want a HUD, heaven forbid, was looking down at your chest and a tattoo that would change depending on your health,
which is much more realistic, I find.
Yeah, just like in the movies.
Yeah, you when you have a tattoo that will alter itself based on your life force. That's
my
way
favorite
more
part of the Hunger Games when Katniss just kept checking down her shirt to see how she was holding up.
Yeah. Oh, how am I doing? Oh, my heart's really low. I should eat a floating packet that looks like a red cross on it somewhere. Video games, man.
Dead Space figured out you could just put it to the back of the character.
Dead Space was so good.
Yeah.
All these games that should have sequels and have better follow-ups, and they don't.
I mean, Dead Space 2, I like Dead Space 2 better than Dead Space 1.
Oh, I did too. I think Dead Space 2 is the height of the series. It's incredible.
3's pretty good.
3's all right. 2, I like 2 better.
3.
But I think that the fact that they just dissolved that studio, was it Volition, I think? And just said, man, we're not doing this anymore. I mean, what are you doing over the EA? I mean, these are great franchises. I know they're not games as services and aren't having microtransactions, but can't we just sell a whole bunch of regular games? Can't we do that for a little bit?
Yeah.
Hey, wait, quick check. Blades check 2019. Let's see how we're doing.
2019. So you're not very optimistic.
Is it playable?
Counting years already.
Let's see. Nope, still says thank you for downloading Blades and tells me I can't play yet. So there you go.
All right.
Let's move on to this, shall we? Is Blizzard even making... That was loud, wasn't it?
It was really loud.
Why was that so loud? That's so freaking loud. Shouldn't be that loud. I don't know what happened there, but it's louder than it's supposed to be.
All right. The second time.
Hey... Blizzard, I don't think their classic games division, I think they might actually be phasing that out. I have a theory. So here goes my theory.
Okay.
Warcraft 1 and 2 just hit GOG. Good old games. Got them today. Warcraft 1 and 2. So that's 1, Orcs versus Humans, and 2, the Battle.net edition thing, Battleground edition, whatever the hell it was called. Those 2 games are straight up on GOG, announced by both the Warcraft people and the GOG people, and that's now a thing. 2-3 weeks ago, whatever it was, Diablo 1 available on GOG. I am now starting to think that after Warcraft 3, I'm not sure they're going to have a classics games division. Like, what would really put this to bed for me is if in another 2 or 3 weeks, suddenly Diablo 2 showed up on GOG, and then I would
those games were never on classic games on Battle.net to begin with?
Well, none of them were. No. You could
get Warcraft 3 and onward, and Diablo 2 and onward. You couldn't get 1 or Warcraft 1 or 2 on the Battle.net store ever.
No.
Well, Battle.net... Well, no, that's not true, because the Battle.net edition of Warcraft 3, I guess that was a later release of it, but that was...
No, you could get Warcraft 3, but 1 and 2 and Diablo 1, you could not.
Okay.
And there was no CD key to plug into the website to say, I own this game, please add it to my library. Right. So it wasn't available through their launcher at all.
And also, it doesn't install very well on modern machines, so it was like tough to even purchase as a box somewhere at the eBay or whatever.
Well, that's kind of true for all these games, but my point is, like, when they finish this Warcraft 3 thing, all that's really left to make, unless you're talking about Lost Vikings or freaking Rock and Roll Racing or something like that, is Diablo 2. So all I'm saying is, if Diablo 2 shows up on GOG, I say they're phasing that team out. Because what else are you working on? They're not doing the WoW Classic stuff. That's not them. That's the WoW team.
Diablo 2 is purchasable on Battle.net.
Purchasable, but not. You can't put it on the launcher, can you?
It's yeah. If you buy it, it's on. I don't know about that. It might be
Nah,
an
I don't think you
individual
can put
download.
it on the launcher. No.
I think you can download some digital thing from the store
Although
and pay for it.
it has a button in the shop. I'm just on Battle.net now. There's a button for it in the shop. I don't know. Warcraft 3 has a button on my left-hand side in Battle.net.
Well, I mean,
Well, yeah, because they're doing the remake.
right.
Which is why they've given you that.
Yeah, because Warcraft 3 is
sorry,
about to get that big remake, which is my entire point. If they're not planning a remake of Diablo 2 and someone else does it, then I think this is it for that team. Like, what else are they going to make?
That could be a safe bet. They could transition to work on something else. They could. I mean, I see where your logic is.
Yeah.
Here's where I would push back on it a little bit beyond the reasons we said it might be the reason these are the games that are going to good old games.
Okay.
When they did that big patch of Warcraft 3 not too long ago, they were like, oh, we got big news coming for Warcraft 3. And people were like, they're doing Warcraft 3 remaster. They're doing it. And then they came out and they're like, we're doing a patch. We're going to support widescreen monitors. We're going to support modern resolutions. We're putting in modern features. And people were like, oh, well, I guess they're not going to remaster Warcraft 3. And then BlizzCon came and they're remastering Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
Like, Blizzard sometimes makes decisions that don't even necessarily go hand in hand with other decisions they're making. They could very easily say, yeah, let's put it out on good old games. And then they could have that team turn around and start working on Warcraft 1 and 2 for a remaster.
Yeah, that's true. Because all they're getting, widescreen support and being able to just run on modern hardware over at good old games, but not much else.
Yeah.
No.
I don't even know what the resolution choices
are. Hey, do you want a tinfoil hat things?
Go it. Do it.
Even harder?
Yeah.
So I think that a fairly prominent developer from CD Projekt Red went to go work for Blizzard.
Yeah. Yeah, we knew about that.
What team he joined.
He was the lead story dude on Witcher. No, lead something on Witcher 3. I can't remember what he did. But.
Right, and so Blizzard, a company known for having its PC exclusive on its PC exclusive store, actually makes a partner out of good old game. Like, the thing is, wouldn't it just be better to put it, like someone said it would not be better to put it on Battle.net because people go to good old games for good old games, because why the hell not put it on the Battle.net launch? There was, for a company like Blizzard, there's no reason to put it on good old games unless they looked at it and said, we'll probably get more downloads or more impact, or it's an experiment to put it on the GOG and not have it on Battle.net.
Yeah.
It's actual insanity. And here's where the tinfoil hat is. Activision Blizzard's going to try and acquire CD Projekt Red.
Whoa.
Or there's future partnership in some crazy ass way.
Jeez, that's terrifying.
Blizzard specifically, like they're known, like they're big fans of all kinds of properties, and they work with Nintendo and stuff like that. But this is on the PC side of things. This isn't, we're working with Nintendo because we don't make consoles and we like their consoles and it's profitable or whatever. Or Diablo Immortal Edition for PlayStation.
Yeah, or Overwatch or any of those.
This is an unusual move for a company that's never had their games on Steam or anything like that I can recall in its history once Battle.net became a thing.
Yeah. What if it's okay? I'm going to share your little hat for a minute. Let's say you're right, or let's say that this theory came true. Geralt of Rivia, a bruiser in Heroes of the Storm.
Do it.
Okay.
Hold on, I got more for you. Hearthstone just rolls Gwent into it.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was just Gwent.
Do you want to launch Hearthstone or Gwent?
Yeah, but then here's the cool part from the other side. The developer made that super rad standalone Witcher game recently that plays a lot like a kind of Baldur's Gate-ish, but then the combat's done through Gwent. They could do
Thronebreaker?
Thronebreaker. It's really cool game. That game.
Oh, that's a game I really want to play.
Yeah, you should play. I think you'd love it.
The only reason I haven't played it because I didn't finish Witcher 3 and I don't want spoilers, and I feel like
you might get something.
They named their cards after characters, and I'm like,
yeah, it's a little scary, but it's a single player game.
Okay.
So then imagine that team's like, all right, now you guys are making the standalone isometric top-down Warcraft game with Thrall and his buddies who went on a secret mission to do a thing. Like, I'm not saying any of this is going to happen and likely won't, but I'm not saying there aren't advantages to that kind of crossover, because that's a great developer over there.
You've all had your tinfoil hat moment. I'll take it. Hand it over.
All right, put it on.
All right,
I've had it on my wiener. I just let you know.
I'm going to take the tinfoil hat.
Okay.
I'm going to crumple it up and throw it over there, and I'm going to say, hey, Good Old Games sells old games. And they probably went to Blizzard, who has a lot of really classic old games that really kind of defined the PC, and said, hey, what if we put some of your games on our store? And Blizzard said, okay.
Yeah.
No, that's not the whole story.
It could be the whole story.
When did Good Old Games launch?
Years ago, 10 years ago, something like that.
Okay, so good old GOG launch date. All right, because the story is, I don't know, 2014 announced the launch of a new edition of the service.
No, that was before that. These guys have been around a long time. Hold on, GOG 2008, 11 years ago.
2000. So in 2008, GOG gets created, and in 2008 they go to Blizzard and say, your classic games, put them on the store, and Blizzard goes, no. And then it's 2008, so 10 years goes by, 11, and then they're like, yeah, let's do it's like there's 11-year gap in that story. I think it's an important feature that like they probably felt differently at that time than they do now, which is they're like looking over and saying, yeah, you guys kind of match your values. Release it when it's ready. We like I'm sure they're video gamers over Blizzard. I'm sure they love CD Projekt Red stuff just as much as any of us like it. And I don't know.
Maybe it was a
it's
trade.
Just tinfoil hat theory.
Maybe. By the way, that tinfoil. John, wash your hands. I had that tinfoil hat on my wiener, and you may want to wash your hands. What I was going to say was maybe this you could get real weird with it and say, well, this acquisition of that top level CCP guy who now works at Blizzard, maybe part of the trade was that. Maybe there was a little bit of a something like, we'll do this, and guess what? Part of that deal, we want to run your old games on our service that we have.
And maybe share background tech, the stuff that CD Projekt Red does good, vice versa. I mean, who knows?
Yeah. It's
always good for companies to do that exchange program where you send some of your employees over there, you send some employees over there, and bring back knowledge.
Arbithonaut in the chat says this is good free will, or this is good free will at a time Blizzard could use it. Yeah, I agree. It's not. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with this arrangement. It's just, it does make me worry. It makes me wonder if their emphasis on bringing all their classic games up to modern light has changed some in recent months, given all the other changes. I don't know. We'll see. Warcraft 3 is a big one. Clearly, they're putting that out. People can already buy the damn thing. But what they'll do with it in the end, who knows? All right. Well done. That's all we had there. Before we go, quick mention of what we're playing. Or not before we go. I have a call today. We have to play a call. I've started playing Stellaris again.
Yeah,
because that game's great, and I heard about a bunch of interface changes they made. They're super cool, and they are good. I don't know if it was in some of that. I think this patch may have come right around the time they put out the console version of that game, which is crazy to think a console version of that game works. Can't even imagine it. I'm blown away by that, but apparently it does, and people are fond of the Xbox PS4 version of Stellaris. But as a result, the PC version got some nice little tweaks, and I really like it, and I'm playing it again, and I'm loving it. And I also started playing Farm Together on the Switch. Why? I don't know.
It's on your top 10 list of game likes when it's farming.
I like farm games. I like simple ones. I want to make that clear. Okay. I don't like the sim ones where it's like, your tractor needs to be taken to the shop and then have 14 things done. I don't like that. I like put shit in the ground. I like that
he's played enough that he knows that there's a difference between them.
Oh, there's totally a difference. It's like a flight simulator versus, just a fun Crimson Skies kind of experience. So for me, I just want to plant my stuff. I want to water my stuff. I want to pick my stuff, and then I want to sell my stuff. And then I want to do it again.
Farm Together is the burnout of farming games.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, good way to put that. And it's just a taste of like what I love about Animal Crossing, the proper series of Animal Crossing, and things like that. I like a thing where I'm just kind of managing my stuff, and the seasons change, and the seed prices go up in the winter because they're harder to get, and just like that. But then I don't want the ones where it's like, oh no, did you talk to the county commissioner about the extra land you're gonna need for the F that? Not into it. Those games
I want
exist.
the ones that have a dating sim in it, though. Does this have that?
No, but you can play with other people, which means
I want to go into town and find out which villagers are bonable.
Yeah, all.
John, did you play Boyfriend Dungeon?
No. Should I?
Tell us about it, Bo.
I don't know. It's just I think it's you play. I didn't play it, but all this talk about visual novels, and I think it's visual novelty. But you play, I think, a guy or a girl with a sword, but your sword turns into your boyfriend, and you have to like romance it for it to do more powers.
Really?
It's called Boyfriend.
That's
Dungeon.
a thing.
Yeah.
Boyfriend Dungeon.
Hang on. Anyways, just wanted to recommend it. I haven't played it. Yeah, Boyfriend Dungeon.
That's Bo's recommendation because I have twice now expressed an interest in dating games. Except I've expressed interest in a game that's only pretending to be one, and the dating aspect of Harvest Moon.
There you go. BoyfriendDungeon.com. Watch the trailer.
Right, I'll check it out.
All right.
I'm into flirting with your sword. If you're gonna have a sword, you might as well really like your sword.
Actually, the trailer is really well animated and awesome.
Really? I can't believe I'm hearing any of this.
I actually own Dream Daddy. Chat is talking about it. I own it. I haven't played it, but I own it.
Well, I remember there was a lot of talk about Dream Daddy, but
I heard it was good. I got it.
All right.
I like to play.
Basically, Boyfriend Dungeon is Bastion and a visual novel mixed in one.
Nice. John, how's Baba Is You? I keep hearing good things. It's good.
Baba Is You is great.
Yeah.
I saw this game, and I immediately judged it on its looks, like, sometimes we're guilty of doing, and I was like, this doesn't look that great, and I ignored it, and then I noticed that it was still on like the top sellers of Steam, and I thought, well, what is it? This game looks so weird. What could it be? And I looked into what it was, and I immediately was just like, oh my gosh, this game seems right up my alley. I have to get this. And it is a cool little puzzle game that's all about rules, very specific rules, but in also the fact that you can break them. So, it might say wall is block, which means you can't go through a wall. But if it doesn't say that, you can just walk over the top of it. That wall is nothing more than a texture on the ground for you to move across. Yeah. So it's a puzzle game. There's lots of different ways. I mean, the first level, I think there were 7 or 8 different ways you can solve just that first puzzle in the game. And it's just wild. It's really simple graphics, but it's just a really addictive and surprisingly complicated puzzle game.
I like the look of it a lot. There's something about the minimalism that I'm fond of it. That kind of squiggle vision looking animation and art is totally my thing. I like it.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's just super cool. And it's one of those games where it's like, I wonder if this works, and you do it and it works, and that is the thing that solves the puzzle for you, and you feel brilliant, but also amazed that the thing actually did what you thought it should do.
Nice.
But yeah, I've been doing that. I have been continuing my fandom of Warframe, and that's been really good. Right now they're doing an event where they're giving you a bunch of free stuff by doing just a basic quest. And that's been fun. I'm at the point now, I've gotten to that game where I'm at the YouTube video level.
Oh.
So I played it, and I didn't understand it. And then I played it and thought I was understanding it. And then I played it and was like, okay, maybe I'm okay at it. And now I'm at the part where I know I'm not actually okay with it. And now I need to go look at YouTube videos to find out what else I'm missing about it.
I see.
But I love the Warframe that I picked out. I think her name's like Saren or something like that.
I think she's high on most tier lists this year.
Is she? Because she's awesome.
So.
I didn't know you played a character in that game. I thought you just picked a Warframe and built it on a drone type.
The Warframes, they're not characters like an Overwatch, but they have your unique 1 through 4 abilities like Diablo.
Yeah.
They have the unique body shape and personality. Huh. But there's no VO or anything like that. They just behave differently.
So how does she have
my character's powers right now, if I use my base level power, I poison a guy. But if I kill them while that poison's on, it spreads to every enemy that's near them when they die, and the poison becomes more powerful. And that happens every time I kill an enemy. So you hit one enemy, kill them, and then next thing you know, you just mow down this enemy force in front of you, and they just all immediately explode and die. If I do my next level ability, I create a little clone of myself that just will distract enemies and they'll shoot at that. I've got another one where I poison my bullets and all the damage I do is poison damage. And then I have an ultimate where I unleash this massive aura explosion of poison around me, and they all interact with each other. Kind of like actually kind of like a MOBA character, you know, like Bo said, like a character in Diablo.
Yeah.
And that's just one character. And there's a whole bunch of them in there that do a whole bunch of other stuff. So.
Right. And have you grown to like the kind of Geiger-esque sort of style of everything? Like the weird... No?
Not really. It's okay. It's gotten to the point where it's distracting me anymore. But it has an aesthetic. I think all the enemies and stuff look way cooler than the warframes themselves.
Oh,
I think the warframes are probably the one thing that I don't think looks very cool in the game.
You know what improves your enjoyment is buy yourself a Sidana.
What's a Sidana?
It's a paid DLC. You get a cloak for your back, but the cloaks are beautiful.
Yes,
Really?
I got one of those. That's one of the things they're giving away right now, part of the quest. So I got one, and you're right. My character is way cooler now that they have it.
Oh, look at this. I'm trying to...
You can blow a ton of money on cosmetics in that game. There's 39 warframes now in the game, so there's lots to choose from.
Yeah.
And you don't have to buy any of it if you go farm and hunt the components and blueprints and all that jazz, and that forms the gameplay loop for the most part.
Yeah.
That's the part I don't understand yet, because I'm still working my way through the story, but I'm not entirely sure where to go to get the things I want. So that's what I'm gonna be looking
the
at.
Warframe Wikia. Look up the Warframe you want, and you'll find where all the parts are. That's just the way that game is. You'll never learn it in game where the parts are unless you randomly come across it doing missions. You'll want to. It's a treasure hunt. You want to find out where all the pieces drop and then do those missions and et cetera, et cetera.
I like the outdoor business. It's cool. And some of the stuff in these new maps they've got.
The surface of Mars and the surface of like winter-like planets are pretty cool, actually.
And there's got this flying ability now. Like you can.
Yeah, so it's Archwing. There are Archwing missions where you fly in space, but also can fly on the surface of planets.
Yeah, that's crazy. Look at this.
So there's a whole flying component.
This game changed a lot. I played this in the old beta days of it, like forever ago, and it was so
different,
so janky and different. It was not this. Like they've really come far with it. You guys are tempting me to play this damn stupid.
You should
game.
do it. We could all play. It's a multiplayer.
Yeah, but you're so far ahead of us now, or me anyway.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't really work that way.
But is John
you know what it
cutting out
works
for you?
like?
Is he cutting out for you? John keeps cutting.
He's cutting out a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, it's probably because I'm watching this video now. It's got.
Oh, it's weird. It sounds like a what do you call it? It sounds like a short or something, but maybe not. Anyway, sorry, Bo. You were saying.
Yeah. So it doesn't really work that way. What's the best way to describe it? It's almost like when we play Vermintide or whatever. You can just pick whatever mission you want and just run it. Doesn't matter.
Does it adjust for levels and stuff? Like if I'm
like, you don't unlock all the missions. There is a sort of a progression path, but you can go back and do mission 1 to your heart's content if you want to farm an item there. And farming sounds negative in this, but the missions are fun, so it's usually fun activities. It's just picking activities.
It's like Diablo in that way. Then you just.
But like if you play with me and I have a Rhino Prime that's like fully kitted out with pretty high mods, like you'll get that. Oh, I'm 5 miles ahead, steamrolling everything. But I could take some low-level mods and level some low-level weapons and stuff like that. So there's options for me to play with lower strength frames.
All right. I'm kind of into it. It just feels like I'm watching this video and watching this guy play. It's like just watching it's like watching molten lava with legs. Like, I don't know what this is even supposed to be. Like, this aesthetic is so weird.
The basic frames are like simpler. Excalibur is like, to me, the generic everyman frame. It's also really powerful. It's like Soldier 76 of frames. Basically, your ultimate is you take out a sword, you're Genji, and you just shoot your sword everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, so some of them are like weird and really nuanced, and if you get into that deep nerd level of the game, you will love it. But you don't. You get one Warframe to start with. I'm sure Excalibur is one of the picks still, and it's easy town.
Well, I know, John, other than that, you've been pretty buried in prepping for this D&D one-shot we're doing for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's been kind of my thing. It turns out I thought I had plenty of time, and I don't.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy week, so it's been a lot of that.
Turns out that stuff is hard, or well, harder. You guys make it look easy, but it's harder than you think it is.
That's okay. Me and Garpoon will have chocolate eclairs.
Oh, Garpoon. We've already given out the name, have we? Garpoon. Garpoon.
We talked about it last week.
Oh, did we?
Do you not remember?
No. Oh, we talked about TWBD. Oh, is that his? Are you gonna lick yourself in this mini campaign? Are you gonna like?
Well, I'm a tabaxi. It's traditionally how we clean ourselves.
Oh no! All right, that's no good. Eric, Bo, Heroes of the Storm. They launched their stuff this week at the classes, the classification thing.
So the role system changes in there. It's
Yep.
pretty invisible to me. I was just playing quick match, so who cares? Doesn't really affect anything, to be honest with you.
Right.
But I'll tell you what got me to open my wallet was the Cyberpunk skins.
Yeah.
Chilled out. Got me my Butcher skins and my Lucio skins and the whole shebang. Chromie skins, Karazim skins. Had a lot of fun playing Karazim, and the new Chromie rework is hella fun.
Really?
I've been having a lot of fun playing Chromie. I think I've put in 20 or 30 games this week.
Is she still all super wind uppy with all her abilities, or did that change?
Oh yeah, it's samey but different. Her Q Sandblast now hits minions, so she's like Li Ming. Her big abilities won't go through the minions, but it's great because you can build her in such a way as to become a siege monster. I played a game last night that was a 40-minute game on Brexit Holdout, the snowball map. And I had like 250,000 siege damage. We lost, but the kills were like 65 to 63. And I just mowed those. Like the Zerg wave would come, and Chromie would just goodbye. Just wipe the whole wave out in like 2 seconds flat.
Wow.
Yeah, she's kind of need tweaks. So if you want to play Chromie, that being said, she still loses tons of games because she's Chromie.
Right.
But you'll kill a lot of people while doing it. So it's fun.
I meant to try the Lucio changes because they're super weird to me, and it makes me think I'm either going to hate it or love it, and I haven't had a chance yet. But
I like the changes. I just hate that he has his speed boost song less speed.
Well, there you go.
So you're not zipping around as much. So that felt bad. But high-fiving people is kind of fun.
Give me that sound you gave me when Chromie killed all those Zerg. What was it again? The sound you made?
I don't know what to make.
No, you went like or something like that. Yeah, and that reminded me of this clip.
The diarrhea specialist.
All right, fantastic. Just wanted to.
Oh. Well, there used to be specialists in Heroes, but not anymore.
Not anymore. Nope. Somehow, Zool is a bruiser. Makes sense of that. I mean, I guess he is, but whatever. It's just a weird thing. All right, and then you've been working on D&D stuff, obviously, as well for our weekly funness that we have. Let's do a quick email. It's actually not an email, it's a call, and it begins with this. This is regarding the Epic Store that Bo so poo-pooed last week, and
oh, good.
We'll now get a taste of the wrath of a listener regarding that. Not really. He just has a thing to say. It's very short. Here you go.
Hey, nerds. This is Legrand for Core. Listen. Epic Game Store gave me Super Meat Boy for free, so that's good enough for me.
That's it. That's the whole call. He just says, look, if they give you a free thing, great. And they do that. Every month they have a free game, and it's usually a pretty decent game. That's a really old one, Super Meat Boy, and Meat Boy Forever or Infinite or whatever it is that's coming out. That's the new game you're going to want to get if you're into Meat Boy. But there have been other games that have been like, whoa, really? This is cool. This is a game I wish I had picked up forever ago and never did or whatever. So Bo, maybe the bottom line will be, hey, there's a free game Bo always wanted. It's now up on Epic. You get it for free for life. You'll get the Epic Store, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
A game Bo actually wants is going to be on that store, and it's still not enough to get him to do it.
Maybe. I mean, there probably are games on there already that are exclusive there that he wants, like Metro. And you're not going. You're not doing it. I get it. I get it.
No.
I get it.
Well, I would say if they manage to get exclusive in perpetuity type deals, that's a different matter than
because none of these, including Metro, are permanent.
It's I just don't like the artificial division it creates in PC gaming. It's unnecessary. I get why Xbox and PlayStation does it, and Nintendo and all that stuff. In the PC realm, the battle for your processing speed or your CPU cycles is on, and I'm not having it.
I get it.
That's all.
I've come more around to your way of thinking on that kind of.
If they said Metro will only ever be purchasable on the Epic Game Store, then here's what I got to do. I installed Origin because to play Dead Space 3, I had to buy it there.
Yeah.
And it's not available on Steam.
Right.
So maybe they can, maybe they can offer developers even more to get those exclusives in perpetuity, but I doubt they'll do it, which means they're not putting their money where their mouth is, and I don't like it.
I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
I think I've come closer to your point of view, even though I'm fine having the thing open, but I understand.
Fine if you have it. I don't have anything against anyone who installs it.
I think you've got a principled stance here, and the principle makes sense. I totally get it. I think
the principal is the bad guy.
You think he's?
And I think we're on a limited bit of time before we wipe it out.
Yeah, we got to fight the principal. Mm-hmm. Probably in his own city. Yeah, is my thinking.
That's what I think.
Well, Orp be with us, and let's see if we can't pull it off. Thanks for the voicemail. You can send your voicemails to 801-471-0462, or if you'd prefer an email, those are easy too. What's our email address? Well, you know what? It's an address now. Just go to frogpants.com/core. You use the contact link. That's how we do it now. So you do that, frogpants.com/core, or again, 801-471-0462. Take us to task. Complain, talk about a thing you like, you don't like, whatever. We're open to your suggestions. I think that's everything. Yeah.
They should tell people what Warframe John should go farm.
Oh, yeah, John. People should tell John that?
Yeah. I got Banshee because Sylvanas.
No.
I don't like it.
Not opening the whole conversation. Just put that back in there.
No, I know. I'm just saying I didn't like it that much. Scott always says I'll be whatever the closest thing is to Sylvanas. I just want him to know I tried it and I didn't like it.
It is kind of John's thing. Go for the Sylvanas look if you can.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I also admire that. There was a game I played the other day, some Japanese or some Korean MMO mobile thing, because I like to dork around with those sometimes. And I forgot the name of it, and it's completely forgettable and totally stupid. But the main archer, ranger / rogue character that you could choose from was straight up lifted Sylvanas, like just Sylvanas. That's who it was. Okay. And Blizzard should sue them. Play, then. They should sue. Yeah, you should go play Epic of Times Raid or whatever name it was.
Dinner in Theater.
Yeah. It was something like that. It was some terrible name, and we should never think of it again. All right.
Man, if they ever do a third-person shooter like Tomb Raider style, when Blizzard buys CD Projekt Red, they're going to say, we're going to do a game like Witcher, but Sylvanas.
Oh,
it's like Tomb Raider. Oh. And it's got, just... Like John would, be dead.
My body would split in half, and my legs would... I don't know... I don't know how I would handle that.
I know I would be as excited as you are about it.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Oh my gosh, dude. That's what I want Blizzard to make anyway. Good. That's what I want them to do now anyway. I want them to make a big, epic first or third person adventure with one of their cool characters in that world. Like, let's go.
Sylvanas, it's done.
Yeah, you already got her.
My job in life should be to go to all the game companies and tell them what to make, and they just listen to me.
And she could take Nathanos could be her companion the whole time, going, Nathanos, run forward and check out the thing. Yes, Dark Lady. I mean, you could go crazy with those characters. Oh, man. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you all for being here. Our website is frogpants.com/core, CORE. And you can follow us on Twitter, CorePod. John_Jagger, Scott Johnson, and Bo Schwartz. That's going to do it for us. Oh, don't forget, support us on Patreon. Patreon. Oh, yes, that's how we keep the lights on. Patreon.com/core show. We thank you for the support you've already given, and if you haven't, consider it at patreon.com/core show. That'll do it for us. For me, for John, for Bo. We'll see you next time. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Frog Pants Network. Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Is anyone mesmerized by this yet?
I wanna play Sylvanas Weed Farm.
I would.
A Sylvanas Undead Farm. That's where you grow the little the Forsaken, new Forsaken out of the ground.
Nathanos just